There's an energy around us, but we can't define it.
Right.
There's an energy in our bodies. There's an energy in a rock. There's an energy in insects and
That's right.
plants. And
That's right. Definitely involves the spirit world, but it stops at the point of does the spirit world control us or not. Basically, it stops. It doesn't go beyond that line. Now, the line to the right is really where secular humanism, which is what I believe that certainly that's my belief system, is called secular humanism, and many people refer to it as atheism. They're not identical, but they're very much the same.
very close, yes.
Really starts then at that line where you have a set of beliefs, but they don't involve a spirit world. Atheism means non-theism, right? There is no theism, there is no spirits. That's basically what that means. So it's just saying that we don't believe that there is a spirit world. Secular humanism, as a set of principles and guidelines, basically says the same thing. We really don't believe that there is a spirit world because we don't believe it's provable. Certainly hasn't been proven. And so we choose to operate our lives based on things that we know to be true, in large part, and then those things that we can't prove, we do our best to use our reason and our intellect and our sense and discourse with others and so forth to come to conclusions.
Well, this is a very definitive and graphic way of presenting everything from the evangelical fundamentalists. Actually, I shouldn't say even evangelical because there's Islamic fundamentalists as well,
exactly.
all the way to atheism. And
Yes.
I've never seen it presented this way. Tell me a little bit about your beliefs on atheism. Why do you consider atheism? You mentioned before that it makes you feel, was it the word secure? That you more comfortable, more peaceful.
Congruent.
That's what you would
Congruent
use.
and peaceful.
More peaceful.
Yes.
Why is atheism allowing this peacefulness within you?
Well, again, I would say it's not so much atheism as it is secular humanism, because again, to me, atheism, the problem I have with the term atheist is it doesn't say what you do believe in. It says what you don't believe in. You don't believe in a spirit world, but you could potentially be an atheist, and what a lot of people view atheists as they're amoral also. Well, they don't have any morality. They don't have any guidelines.
That's because they don't believe in anything.
Right.
Actually, they do believe in many things.
Many
they
things.
just don't believe in any type of supernatural ability.
Right, and this is, I think,
deities.
one of the real problems we have in our discussion with belief systems and in religion today, and then it comes into values and all of this. And it's a reason why I'm not big on using the term atheist to describe people. I think it's effective, but to me, secular humanism is a better term because it really is a full set of principles and guidelines that are laid out on websites, the secular humanist websites and so forth. I've got them all listed down. But basically they have to do with saying that we know, we live our lives according to what we know to be true. We are in continual discovery mode, and we are looking to continue to search to find truth. We are also looking to continually improve ourselves and our planet and the lives of others around us. And we're respectful of others, and we're respectful of life, including not just human life, but animal life as well. It's a really broad set of principles and concepts that I think if anybody were to step back and look at it, it's very difficult to argue with any of it, and yet it all just fits. Right.
Today we're going to talk about the differences between secular human and atheism, which you talked about before, just slightly.
Yes.
So what is the difference between the two?
Okay, well, I think, secular humanism, I view that as a worldview. It is a belief system in many ways because it really is a set of principles that affirm life and affirm, a set of guidelines to live by. And so, again, I mean, we can sort of go through some of the key ones. There's a list at the websites of about 20 to 25 of those principles, and we can list off maybe 10 or so of those.
Now, before we get started,
Yeah.
you would say that atheists
Yeah.
don't necessarily disagree with these. In fact, most
Correct.
of the time, atheists would agree with everything you have to say about secular
Yes,
humanists.
the difference is that you could theoretically be an atheist, which just means you don't believe in a God or a spirit world, and yet you could still be a bad person. You could still not subscribe to a set of principles or guidelines that are affirming of the human race, that are affirming of our world, that are affirming of our need to take care of our planet and others around us. You could absolutely be an atheist and have all kinds of other belief systems. But I think it's important for people to understand that atheism really does not itself define a belief system. And the reason I don't like using the term atheist to define myself is because of that lack of clarity. It doesn't really define what I do believe in. So again, secular humanism to me just makes more sense, and I like describing myself as a secular humanist or a naturalist, or a rationalist. These are all better terms.
Let's go through some of the items. We're not going to go through all of them, but
Okay.
you've picked out some good ones here.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and repeat some of these.
Well, let me just start with the overview, if I can, real
Sure.
quick. Just this first little overview that says, secular humanism is a way of thinking and living that aims to bring out the best in people so that all people can have the best in life. Secular humanists reject supernatural and authoritarian beliefs. They affirm that we must take responsibility for our own lives and the communities and world in which we live. Secular humanism emphasizes reason and scientific inquiry, individual freedom and responsibility, human values and compassion, and the need for tolerance and cooperation. So I think that's a good summary of the set of beliefs with secular humanism.
Excellent. Well, I certainly believe in all of that, being an atheist, and
Yeah.
I certainly believe that most atheists think about these things because
Yes.
a lot of people think that atheists are either immoral or bad people
Right.
because they just reject everything. Well,
Exactly.
usually the path to atheism is not the one particular event that says, well, I prayed and God didn't answer my prayer, so I just don't believe in him. That's
Right.
kind of an angry atheist, you might say.
Exactly.
Most people's paths to atheism is a very well thought out one.
Yes.
By rational thinking, critical thinking, trying to discover the world around them,
Yes.
trying to explain all of the God issues and the God delusions that might be out there.
Right.
And they come to the same conclusion that we're here,
Yep.
responsible for our own self, responsible for our own community, our own world.
Yes.
And since this is the only life that we live, we better make it a good one.
Exactly, and I like to look at things sort of on a continuum, on a range. I think it's very difficult to, pin everything down into black and white terms. And so, for example, in the last segment where we talked about the range of worldviews, in the same way, I tend to believe that most people are alike. Most of us worldwide, regardless of our
Worldwide.
race, or our
I'm in total
background or
agreement.
culture, we're all the same, sort of people. We want the same kinds of things. And, when you get into the end point of secular humanism, which we may have a little time to discuss, which is what I feel is a concept of self-actualization, which was made popular by Abraham Maslow, the famous psychologist. It seems to me that makes a lot of sense for people in general, that this is something we're all trying to subscribe to, which is, let's have our needs, our basic needs met, and then our emotional needs and our social needs. And as we do that, we sort of become healthier individuals, and we're able to reach out to others and become more risk-taking and become more inquisitive and discover and really want to fulfill our lives the best we can. I think that's in all of us.
That doesn't mean to say that people of religious beliefs can also be self-actualization.
Exactly, and so my point is that I think in the spectrum of people out there, no matter where they are in the withholding in terms of holding a religious belief system, still, as I said, I think that 95% of all people live their lives the same, according to facts, according to what they know to be true. And then on the religious side, there's a set of folks that, again, have a wide range of how they view life and how they view the world, that sort of, at some point, suspend the intellect part and sort of go over to this other side and try to integrate that, things that are really difficult to justify, but in their minds, it makes a lot of sense. And so there's just this big range of folks, and I do truly believe, even though the statistics in the U.S. right now are that maybe 17 to 20% now identify themselves as freethinkers or rationalists or atheists. I think that there's a much larger number of people that have these honest questions and that are continually wanting to know the answers to, well, if there is a God, why does he allow this evil? Why does he allow these bad things to happen to people? All of these kinds of questions that you have. And so I